Welcome to another episode of TBF eSports. In this episode, I wanted to talk briefly about the importance of trying to secure first blood and what a bonus that is for your team. Now, depending on the champion, it's going to vary. There's actually a percentage and it breaks down based on research of just the average of champions that draw first blood in League of Legends. But bot lane, for example, is going to actually have the highest chance to snowball with the first blood. So if you're jungling, for example, you're usually going to want to gank bot lane first and try to secure the first blood in your bot lane. But again, that varies depending on the draft of your team. You might have another champion on your team that has a higher chance of securing that first blood win rate. However, the firsts in general make a big deal in League. It takes a combination of skill and timing and just general awareness. So what's the big deal about securing first blood for your team? First blood on average is going to increase your win rate by 59.4%, and the average time that it happens is around the 3-minute and 18-second mark. First tower is going to give you a 71.7% win rate bonus just automatically, and that usually happens just around the 13-minute mark. First dragon is going to bring that win rate up to 68.3%, and first baron is going to bring it to 81.5%. And that, of course, is usually a little later in the game, like around 29 or 30 minutes. So as you can see, I actually just killed my top laner, Cho'Gath, for a second time, and every kill is going to add up, but that first kill, that first blood damage and bonus is just really that important. And so I actually was planning to back, but then I saw Xin was coming in for me, and early gold snowballs wins. If you guys happen to enjoy the music in this video, you can actually get it for free in our debut album, Last Words, which is available exclusively in our iOS app and our Android app. So this is our iOS app, and you can also find links to both of these on our website, bandfamous.com. So this is the Android version of our app. Both of those are free to download, and the album has 9 songs altogether. So I hope if you check it out, you might enjoy it. Also, check out more great music in the Hall of Fame at bandfamous.com, and you can find links to some other great musicians you might enjoy, and you can even sample some of those musicians as they are featured in TBF radio as well. So check that out, give it a listen, and we hope your ears will enjoy.
Welcome to TBF eSports. This is Xander with the Pokemon Go section side of things, and today I just wanted to talk to you about some Pokemon Go mechanics. So some PoGo mechanics, combat power, and hit points. So what are they? And so Pokemon start out with full HP at capture. HP can be depleted during battle, and each Pokemon has combat power and hit points. So those are mechanics within the game of Pokemon Go, and all Pokemon are like animals or insects or whatever in the real life. They have different hit points. You know, some things are going to be stronger, like a little ant can just be squashed. Just kidding. No, Pokemon is unique. There's magical things about Jigglypuff, for example, because even though it has a low CP of only 592, it has an amazing hit point pool of 183. So she can take a lot of hit points in comparison to, say, one of these guys that has only 1083 combat power, but has a much lower 116 HP. So those are some basic mechanics. We're also going to talk about stab, which stands for same type attack bonus. Fairy normal type, pound dazzling gleam. So that's going to get 20% damage for each move, and you can also see that pound was buffed. So let's take a look here and see if this Pokemon has Sucker Punch and Brick Break. Nope. Neither attack matches the typing, which is normal. So it has a dark type and a fighting type, which neither of them receive a 20% bonus damage. So stats versus movesets, what's more important? I would say it's situational. It's always going to depend. But Let's take a look at Tyranitar, which is one of the kings of the meta. So he's going to be set up with a Bite and Fire Blast for the quick and charged move. You can see that he's a Rock Dark type, and he's going to have a stab bonus with Bite, which is his dark move, and he's also going to have Fire Blast, which is not going to receive stab bonus. But you want to take into consideration a few things. The matchup, so whatever you're fighting, is Tyranitar. You can see his weakness meters on the right side that I put up there. If he's not fighting, then he's pretty much good. He can pretty much crush everything. Fire Blast is not going to receive the 20% bonus damage. However, if the weather is boosted, sunny clear, you're going to get bonus damage there. And also just his overall stats and damage multiplier is going to be fantastic. But keep in mind, guys, that the matchup that you're going up against, if he is taking any kind of focus blast, any kind of fighting damage, period, even if it's not stab from the person that's dealing with it, if it's just like a normal type dealing or like a Mewtwo dealing focus blast, he's going to get hurt big time. He's going to go down quick. So then you can also look at this Charizard, which also has Fire Blast. It's going to have good stats as well, but Tyranitar, this is going to have, Wing Attack and Fire Blast. So it's going to get stab from the charged move. It's also going to get stab from the quick move. So take into those considerations that, you want to maximize the damage. So typically you want to have stab for the most time. In certain matchups, tankiness and survivability and total damage output is going to be huge. Note, you can see that Charizard is 4 times weak to rock, and Tyranitar is going to be 4 times weak to fighting, so it's going to be situational. I wouldn't say one is going to be better than the other all of the time. It's going to depend on the fight, it's going to depend on the matchup and or duel, and or the raid or the gym that you're fighting, etc. You get the drift. So there you have it. Pokemon types also have kind of specialties in at least Pokemon Go. So water types are going to be really choice for defending gyms and also attacking gyms and raids. Just showing off some of the high CPs that they can reach, and also the obviously awesome movesets, some of them benefiting from stab and others having just really good stats. So fairies are also going to be just, I think in my opinion, one of the best defenders. They're going to be extremely awesome for locking down gyms, and they get pretty good moves for holding and fending off attacking gyms, or attacking trainers. The ice Pokemon are going to be pretty amazing as well for defending. I think generally speaking, when ice typing comes to mind, I don't think of like attackers, I always think of gym defense and just like tankiness and survivability. For gym attacking, if I would classify the type, Poison would definitely be one of the best attackers. Gengar, Muck, Venusaur, Crobat are just among some of them, and also Victory Bell is an amazing attacker. Bug types are going to be top attackers as well, with Mewtwo EX raids, excuse me, and also just the movesets that all of them can get, and also the stats and the high CP. Scyther, one of the best bugs, and Pinsir with Legacy. Fire typing is definitely going to be one of the best attackers. I think everyone should be able to get a good fire attacker, because even if you can't get a legendary, there's always like Arcanine or Houndoom or even things like that. I'm just showing off some of my best fire type attackers. And keep in mind, I'm not talking about fire type moves, I'm talking the actual typing. So here we are again with grass. I think grass typing in Pokemon Go are going to be the best for offense, with Sceptile and Venusaur and Executor just being monsters in this game, being able to get really good moves and have amazing stats in CP. Top attackers, definitely fighting Pokemon. I don't really see them as holding gyms too much, with the exception of one of the interesting types. I think Blaziken is a decent defender depending on his movesets and weather and such, and his placement would be really important as well. Rock types, I'm always going to think of as attackers, and usually I'm not going to set them up as attackers. I'm going to set them up as like a dark attacker. So these Tyranitars are obviously, really strong, and they're just a good type. Dragon Pokemon are going to be some of the best attackers for raids and soloing raids, as well as knocking gyms down. They're just amazing. They have great movesets, great resistance. They can deal a lot of damage and survive, and probably are one of the most meta relevant Pokemon right now, with Rayquaza, Dragonite, Salamence being just huge in the meta. So meta raid teams, Ghost, I think they're going to always be meta just because their output is so high, their stats are really good. Yeah, they're glass cannons, but if you have 3 of them or 6 of them, they're going to be among some of the best types in the game, with Gengar being such an amazing Pokemon for Mewtwo and for Latios, and many raids, including Alakazam and Machamp. So meta Pokemon, I definitely think of Psychic as meta in Pokemon Go. I feel like all the Psychic Pokemon are just generally strong, with Mewtwo and also Lugia, Alakazam, Executor. All the Psychic types are strong in Pokemon Go. Super tanky, great moves, and some of them are pretty common. Flying type is like secretly the super secret Pokemon type that's OP broken, because keep in mind, Lugia, Dragonite, Salamence, Rayquaza, those are all flying types, and they're super powerful in this game. Ground, I pretty much only think of Groudon for the ground types, for just in general. I think if you don't have a Groudon, the Rhydons are okay, but definitely going to be looking forward to Gen 4 for the evolution of that, for having a good ground type. The electric type is meta. They're going to be useful in everything. Definitely Zapdos and Raikou are going to be top dogs for dishing damage to pretty much every raid and taking down gyms, being a generalist attacker. Magnetons, things like that, those are always fun to have as well for resistance.
Dark Pokemon are going to be super effective in your EX raids. When you're going up against Mewtwo, you're going to want your Tyrannitars. They're going to be the king, and you're going to want to have them because they're super meta. However, you don't want to put them in the gym. I see people drop them in the gyms, but just want them on your team when you're going up against Mewtwo. Steel type are going to be super effective in raids overall. Just pretty much any raid, they're going to do a lot of DPS, and they're good to have on your team. Steelix, Magneton, Scizor, Metagross, there are a lot of really good steel Pokemon that will always pack a punch. Normal type are going to be the best defenders, and that's pretty much all they're good for, the best being Blissey. We have Snorlax, and of course Chansey, believe it or not, is going to be probably the 3rd best defender. Now, what the heck is esports? Why is it relevant? Well, the App Store seems to think it is relevant, as it was featured just about a week ago, and it was trending, and it's international overall. And Pokemon Go may not yet be an esport, but I believe, and Xander believes as well, that it is well on its way to becoming an esport. With future implementation of PvP, we know they're going to do it. It's only a matter of time because it's part of the Pokemon lore. And also, really, if you think about it, defending gyms is kind of an esport already, with all of the different mechanics and strategies and team comps and just burying. And so I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you will subscribe, and don't forget to tune in to our weekly streams, and of course follow us on Twitter as well. Links in the description for all of the above. So tune in again. Until next time, thanks for watching, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And check out bandfamous.com.